On an average night, this store would do about $3,000 worth of business between midnight and 3 a.m. But on the first of the month, that number is 10 times as much, with most everyone here using food stamps. In Oklahoma, the number of folks relying on food stamps is up close to 40% in 2 years.
Food stamp use in Minnesota has reached an all-time high, according to the Department of Human Services.
More people than ever are using food stamps.
Used to be an emergency. Now they're asking us to sustain that.
Food stamps are funded by the federal government. They provide food assistance to poor and low-income families.
Give me my food stamps.
More than 478,000 Minnesotans received food stamps in January, according to the Department of Human Services.
The stamps once resembled postage stamps, but today the money is distributed on electronic cards.
You get this, you get the gold card, and that's what everyone calls it.
The U.S. government says the number of Americans using food stamps recently rose over 30 million for the first time.
I need my food stamps. I need them.
It's a different type of client than we're used to seeing. It's not just people on disability or, people who are just regular food stamp users. These are people who've never had to reach out for help before.
I just swipe my EBT, my EBT, my EBT. I just swipe my EBT.
The local lady who just won $1 million in the state lottery was also on a bridge card. He had to see what was going on here.
This is 24-year-old Amanda Clayton this fall, holding up her big $1 million check she won from the Michigan State Lottery. Defender hitting cameras following Amanda, where she later admits to us when shopping, she uses a bridge card to pay for her groceries. She gets $200 a month. $200 from you, the taxpayer.
There's no telling my kids that we can't eat.
I just want my food stamps.
We tout ourselves as the richest country in the world. The number of Americans receiving food stamps is projected to reach 28 million this year.
31 million Americans need food stamps.
46 million Americans now on food stamps.
Since its inauguration in 2009, President Barack Obama has seen the largest rise in people needing food stamps ever. Recent estimates put the number of people dependent on government assistance to eat basic meals at 47 million. The number of people on government food assistance is more than the population of Spain. There are about 48 million people on food stamps.
A person who's living in poverty is working.
This is what surprised me the most when looking at American poverty. I expected poor people to be on food stamps, the homeless, the drug addicted, the perpetual scammer, but not people who had jobs, not my fellow suburbanites. First off, you gotta give it to Walmart for capitalizing on the busybodies in government and the voting booths. 80% of their workers are currently on some type of government assistance, mostly food stamps and Medicaid. Walmart's low prices are basically subsidized by taxpayers. While this might get you upset at Walmart, remember, Walmart profiting from government aid is just a symptom of the disease. The source to this problem comes from our society, one that believes we can steal the wealth from one group of citizens and redistribute it to another group.
How much benefits did you receive from the food stamp program?
$750 a month.
And what did you typically buy?
Well, to be honest, I would splurge and I would buy filet mignon and steaks, and so easy to apply, I took advantage.
And you told me before we got on camera that you had a special surgery done while you were on food stamps.
I had a breast augmentation for about $9,000.
Wow. And you were able to purchase that while you were getting assistance from the government?
Yes, I was.
Did you ever buy any illegal substances, such as drugs or anything, while you were on food stamps?
I'm an occasional weed smoker, so I would buy some weed, not too much, but occasional.
Could you have made it without food stamps? Would anyone in your household have starved if you didn't have it?
No, I could have made it.
So who needs food stamps more? The people who are on them, or the companies who are making billions from selling their products? To start, the National Association of Convenience Store Operators alone spends millions of dollars lobbying to keep the food stamp profits flowing. 7-Eleven even hired former House Speaker John Boehner's aide to help with the issues related to the general application and approval process for qualified establishments serving SNAP. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. You have to wonder, what kind of nutrition is the government supporting at 7-Eleven? And by the way, who does the National Association of Convenience Store Operators represent? Well, it's exactly as it sounds. Think of those late-night road trips when you need something to eat. Think of these stores that sell almost nothing but junk. Maybe this is just a fluke, because judging by this picture on the USDA website, it appears that food stamps are helping families buy up plenty of fruits and vegetables. In fact, food stamps are even covered under the Farm Bill in Congress. So let's see who else is lobbying to keep the food stamps rolling. There seems to be very large players that are happy to fight any laws or proposals to regulate what people can buy with their EBT food stamp cards. The Snack Food Association. This is literally the candy and junk food group, whose board members currently work for Frito-Lay, Shears Food, and Snyder's of Hanover. This group is teamed up with the American Beverage Association, a group that is led by CEO of Coca-Cola Bottling Company. The vice chair is the president of Dr. Pepper. Other board members' resumes include health-oriented companies like the president of PepsiCo, CEO of PepsiCo, CEO of Sunny Delight, the president of Coca-Cola Americas, CEO of Nestle, CEO of Coca-Cola Bottling Distribution, CEO of Coca-Cola Bottling North America, and of course, who could forget the president of the Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company. So these are the people lobbying for the food stamp program to offer as many choices to the consumer as possible. And as you can see, a simple drive down a busy street will show you who is advertising the acceptance of these wealth redistribution cards to the public. Currently, the government won't allow us to see where these food stamps are being spent. However, we do know from an in-depth report released by Eat Drink Politics that Walmart over a 2-year period in just Oklahoma received $500 million, about half of the SNAP expenditures in that state, and more than 30 times the amount of SNAP money spent on farmers nationwide in 1 year.
With food stamps, you can only buy food, but cash aid, you can buy cigarettes and alcohol, I've heard. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can, but it's wrong. They take your gross pay from 1 month and calculate it for 3 months of benefits.
So they give you 3 months of benefits before they look at your income again?
Yep. And soon it's going to be 6 months before they look at your income again. If you don't have to come in contact with them for 6 months, they're not going to know if you got a second job, quit your job, moved, and they're still going to be giving you the same amount of food stamps for those 6 months. So twice a year you have to report. Income fluctuates a lot.
I've heard of people being able to sell their food stamps. Have you ever sold your food stamps, and what is that like?
I definitely know a lot of people do that. I did do that on occasion. If the month would come by and I would have an extra $250 left on it, I would sell it for a little bit more than half the price, or maybe $300 of it I would sell, and then I would actually buy groceries with the rest.
Wow.
$300 in food, you'd probably I'd get $180 cash.
Wow. So is that pretty much the going rate? Is like 60%, 50%?
Just about, yeah.
Like, so you can walk into the supermarket and almost ask someone, hey, do you want to buy my food stamps? And it's almost understood that it would be around that price.
Yeah, it's like anything on the street. You're going to definitely get a discount.
Wow.
We also know that there is money to be made in being the administrator for the actual debit cards. In the same report, it was revealed that JP Morgan Chase holds contracts in 24 states. We don't know how much they make from this since that is kept from the public. However, in New York, a contract was made public. A 7-year deal originally paid JP Morgan $112 million for EBT services, and this agreement was recently amended to add $14.3 million. Right now, the U.S. has over 47 million people on food stamps. That's just over 1 in 6 Americans. Unfortunately, this type of welfare has made American companies and citizens dependent on government aid. With Obamacare forcing companies to reduce the hours for employees, We can only imagine how many more millions will need government assistance, something that will be built into their lifestyle, regardless of if they actually need it or not. The middle class is caving in right before our eyes. The solution would be less government, not more. But as you can see, everyone from consumers to businesses to banks are now creating businesses and lifestyle models dependent on government assistance. When will it ever stop? FutureMoneyTrends.com has created a special report for anyone who watched this documentary. Go to FutureMoneyTrends.com/prepare to download your copy of How to Survive and Prosper During the Destruction of America's Middle Class. Boss, do you guys take EBT cards here? You do? Do you guys accept EBT here? You do? Sure. Cool, thanks. You guys, the sign's off. You guys accept EBT here?
Only cash.
Well, what do you mean only cash?
You know how they have the food stamps and then they have the cash.
Okay.
They only accept the cash.
Okay, I just have a debit card.
But there's a difference when they give you cash aid and when they give you food stamps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you
All
know
right.
which one you have?
Not really.
No?
I'll figure it out. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Ma'am, on the EBTs, what is restricted?
Hot food, hot drinks.
You can't buy hot food? You can't buy hot drinks, so you can't buy coffee.
No coffee.
Can you buy alcohol? Cigarettes?
Well, on the cash. EBT
On the cash EBT, you can buy.
buy everything, yeah. But on the food,
How do you get the cash?
Just two steps the card.
Because I have the card.
But card, one step the EBT buy the food, one the buy the gas, cigarette, everything.
you should know
Okay.
what. Do you get the food stamps or do you get the...
Well, my wife did it. Well, actually, it's for my mom, but... Okay. All right, thanks very much, ladies.
Straight up like a motherfucker.